The 1st of May. Today marks the 9th year since I joined the Hellgate community. So, instead of doing something special for the occasion, let's review a sword, specifically the official sword of Slipknot. The sword that could cut open more gateways for Blade Masters than Yamato, yielded by Dimmu Borgir. This little fact may actually go unnoticed by many players, but Hellgate actually did have a DOT mechanic in place. Sadly, this mechanic was mostly limited to Bone Shredders, a Kabbalist gun that nobody likes. Because let's be real, most Kabbalist guns are more awkward to use than Joy's Ask My Sexy shirt.
Why?
The DOT mechanic was one of the many things that Flagship put in place, but never truly had the time to polish. After all, a lack of time is why Hellgate is a truly game. So since it doesn't drop yet anyway, here's how it works and why it rocks. The sword has direct primary damage and DOT secondary damage which lasts for 2 seconds. Each hit makes bleeding stack with itself, eventually making a target bleed profusely enough to turn the Nile red. And before you know it, it's raining frogs, which would be very amusing but not quite practical or thematically appropriate. I digress. So, this mechanic makes Sword of Justice the perfect skill to use it with. 6 hits in rapid succession, when each stack of bleeding lasts for 2 seconds.
That's a lot of damage!
But of course other skills also have curious interactions with it, such as Whirlwind or Anchor. But Sword Typhoon is the one that should be the most visible. Typhoon produces 32 shards, centered on the user. Each shard of Typhoon applies its own individual stack of bleeding. So if it's used close enough to a large target, a very decent amount of stacks will be applied.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Naturally, this is not the ideal skill to use it with since it has a large cooldown and so forth. But it goes to show just how truly unique this mechanic is when it offers such unique interactions with the Templar skill set. And since this obscure little rarity is the only sword that actually makes use of it, it should be uncontested that the Bleeder rocks. With that said,